Man. Welcome back, y'all. It's your host, the one and only, Will.
Only one.
It's your boy Smack. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Smack Talk Podcast. We is back, episode 8. I got a special guest here, y'all. So y'all know I'm a leasing specialist over there down that good old Sweet Living, and we'll know a lot. We'll know a lot about Sweet Living, but I'm a specialist over there in leasing and getting people in and filling up our units and keeping our occupancy up. So I met Will. I had the pleasure of meeting him earlier this year.
Mhm.
Every time he came in the office, smiling, positive vibes, good vibes, no negativity. If he had an issue with his unit, he was always commutative. Commutative?
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 I think that's
Is that a word?
Let's go with it.
It sounds like a word. Commutative of everything.
Mhm.
Always spoke with respect. Always kind. But without further ado, I got my man Will. Appreciate you coming on the show.
Dude, absolutely.
Dog.
I'm
Appreciate
happy to
you
be
coming on
here.
the show, man. How you feeling today, dog?
I'm good, man. Dude, I've been excited about this.
You
I'm
been
happy to be
excited?
here. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. So Will here, I just want to jump right into it, man, because I remember earlier this year, well, when we talked a few times, and I was telling you I had some shoulder pain and all that, and you said, "Yeah, I got my own gym. I do PT training. I'm a masseuse. Is that the right word? A masseuse?
We want to go as massage therapist now.
Massage therapist.
But yeah, massage therapist, it's the correct term, the word masseuse. Like, I don't ever feel a type of way about
Is
it.
that for women?
No, it's more so there's like people are inclined to have sexual favors involved with the word masseuse.
With masseuse?
Yeah.
No lie.
That's what I was taught, and
Okay.
so it's like we want to go with like massage therapist, manual therapist.
More professional.
And so
in a sense.
it's more professional sounding, and also I understand that not everybody's gonna understand that either. So when people say it, I'm just like, all right, whatever. I know what you mean, but
Yeah.
you get some people who get really pissed off when
They're like-
they use a word they don't know the context behind, and they get pissed.
They get pissed off at it, huh?
And I'm just like, dude, come on, people are people.
Yeah, massage therapist, y'all. And he was explaining his line of work, and it's not that I didn't take you serious. It was more so, dang, because I feel like in Marshall, the businesses out here, besides I guess the Schwans, Walmart, apartment complexes, realtors, or whatever, they kind of are promoted and advertised, and you kind of see them everywhere. But you've been right in our backyard the entire time.
Yeah.
You're 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes away. You're
Yeah.
like 50 seconds.
You can like see me right across the street.
Like I said,
Yeah.
I could see, if I look outside the window, I could see your office right there, your whole facility.
Yeah.
And it blew me away when I actually came in. I'm just like, wow, you got everything that you need there, from the rooms to the equipment, the weights. Talk a little bit about that, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. I'm proud of you, man.
I opened up my facility in 2018, I'd want to say. No, dude, not even then. Holy shit. It's been a while since I've been in business. I think so. I'm coming up on 7 years. It's 2023, take 3. Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
2017?
2017. Yeah. That's when
That's when I first got out here. That's crazy.
Did you really?
Yeah. That's when I
cool.
first got here. I always say 17 is a special number.
Yeah.
Started your business there.
Started my business.
First got here. So what led you there? Like, what made you want to come to like Marshall and start your business?
I moved to Marshall back in 2010.
2010, okay.
Yep, 2010. I was dating a person then, and I moved to Marshall because she lived here.
Okay.
And then later on, we got married, and so I was married at one point in my life.
You was married?
I know, everybody always says that.
Married too. This dude do it all. Go ahead, man.
Yep. So we got married, and then when my wife at the time, ex-wife, I don't know what we would call it, but yeah, she is an ex-wife, right?
Ex-wife.
You're right.
Yeah,
it's always like an odd thing to say, like, because like when I think about the story I'm telling, like I'm putting myself back in that timeline.
Yeah.
So I use references in that way. Anyway, so I wanted to go to school for personal training.
Okay.
And so when she graduated college, we moved up to Alexandria so I could go to school for personal training.
about 2-3 hours away from here, right? Two and a
Yeah,
half,
about
somewhere
2
around?
hours up
2 hours?
north. Yep.
Further back, Alexandria. Okay.
And so I went there in 2013 for health and fitness. And when I was there, I created an articulate agreement with SMSU here. So what that meant was students who graduated from Alec Tech from the exercise science program could come here
Okay.
and they would have full credits. So then they would just do 2 years here and they would get their bachelor's degree.
Two years.
Yeah.
2 years and done.
Yep.
Much like an associate's with a bachelor's.
They go to start with an associate's, they can come here and then finish up their bachelor's.
Okay.
So then it's just a
That's nice.
smooth transition.
Yeah.
And so I got that set. And so
How was the classes? Was it like fast track classes? Did they have to go summer as well? Or was it like 18 credits per semester to get this done?
okay, so
Something like
that's
what I'm
what's
saying?
wild because I didn't think about that at
Yeah.
the time. But we would average about anywhere from like nothing less than 12,
Nothing
but
less
then
than
like 16 to 17 credits.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. It had to be somewhere close to that 20 range to really kind of accelerate your.
Yeah, but dude, it was amazing because there I did nothing but specific courses on personal training. There were little generals, but the rest was learning about the specifics of what we needed to know right away. I loved it.
No time.
No, dude, we just got right into it, and so from there, I loved it. I absolutely loved education. I wanted to continue on, and so I got the agreement set, moved back here in 15, and at the time, I'm kind of going all over because there's so much
fine.
happened.
Hey, man, with Smack Talk Podcast, we here to hit a story, man. Give it to us, Will.
That's dope, man. I appreciate that. So when I moved back here, I was actually I struggled with addictions most of my life.
Okay.
So it was drugs and alcohol. And I was drinking at that time in 2015 after I moved here. It was like maybe a month being back here. And I'm like, hell yeah, I got I had just gotten done with college. I had a couple certifications.
You felt good, like
Dude,
yeah,
I was
I'm
on top of the
world.
Dude,
Yeah.
you get it, right? So like
Yeah.
I had all this going for me and I wanted to move back here because I knew that there wasn't anything available here that I wanted to provide. So I did my internship in Alexandria at a gym and they put me on, dude. They gave me everything I needed to know what to do, like customer service, personal training, how to just conduct myself as a professional. So I got everything there and I brought it back here because I was excited. But 2015, I left the bar with some friends after drinking and I was being dumb. I can say that because I was not making the best
You being real.
decisions.
You being real.
I was reckless when I would drink, and so I was at a stoplight, and I just said, "Screw it! I'm not gonna wait." I blew it, and as soon as I blew it, it had turned green, and I did it in front of a cop. I peeled out after them watching me leave the bar. I peeled out. I pulled a red light, and I just again not a care in the world.
I'm like, this is the easiest arrest ever. Look, it's like
For real.
book them.
And right away though, like I knew it. I was like, I saw the berries, and I was like,
It's over.
I was like, all right, ain't no getting
tough.
out of this. And
That's
you know,
tough.
and so it happened, right? So like I'm on top of the world, and I got everything going for me, and I'm like, hell yeah. And then this happens, and
You went from hell yeah to hell no.
hell no. Yeah, just hell. So then, dude, I just remember the cuffs going on the wrist, and like it's not nothing new. It's like something I've experienced before, and so I'm used to the feeling. But this time it was different because
You had something to lose at
I
this
had
point,
something to
man. You
lose.
had everything.
Yep, I had everything, and I knew that the person I am today is who I wanted to be, and I couldn't be who I am if it didn't come with a sacrifice, and that sacrifice was alcohol for me. And so after that, I quit drinking, and then in 2016, I started working on. I was still in school.
Okay.
I was a senior this year, and I remember wanting to open up my own facility because I was just frustrated here. I was like, I had a good job and I was working at a place I loved, but I wanted something more to bridge this gap. And to see what I experienced at my internship, I wanted to give that back because I felt people deserve that. I wanted others to have what I had there.
Okay.
And I just wanted to give that back to them. Late 2016, I started working on the business. And January was when we opened, 2017. And I've been in business since then. 3 years into business, I got a business partner. And that was really cool to have because business is hard.
Business is definitely hard.
It's hard. And so you can do it on your own, but sometimes you don't have to, you know, as long as I think that's something that people who grew up the way we did, we're hyper vigilant people.
Very.
I don't like asking for help.
Probably too hyper vigilant at times.
It
hurts us.
It hurts, dude. It's diminishing returns is what they call it. It's like
Diminishing returns.
it's like it's just like with weightlifting, right? I can do heavy weight all the time, but at some point I'm going to get injured, or at some point I'm not going to make as much progress, and so there's something I need to change, right? So something can come back to grow.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, this, like, let's say the way you were squatting was doing really well, and then you just stopped getting the weight to go up. Well, what could I do different?
Yeah.
So diminish.
Just hit a plateau in a sense.
Yeah, because it's like I did this and it worked really well, and now it's not working, and it's like now it's working against us.
Dog, that's how I feel in the gym. Like now more than ever.
Yeah.
Like the strength is still there. Well, I gotta get the shoulder back. You know,
Right.
definitely that's priority number one. But like, cause you know I would squat like 385, 375. And we do 80%, 3 rep maxes. So I'm doing. If I can't do the percentage right now.
Just
Let's
throw a
say
number out
340. Like, oh, okay, it's cool, and then go hit people on the field.
Nope.
Wake up and do it again. Now it's like I throw on 325, 315, and I'm just like, why am I struggling with 10 reps?
Yeah.
Why? And I still get it done, but after it's like, I got it done. Like, dang, that took a lot of energy. What is it like? And I know you said you got to change something. What would you recommend? Like, what is that?
That's
like
a
when
good
you
question.
hit the plateaus, do I lessen the weight, higher reps? Do I do something in between reps?
Dude, you know what's funny?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you, dude. I hear you.
Science. Working out is science. I love working out, y'all. And this is probably why you love it too, the science behind it and the analytics behind working out.
It's amazing because
It
it's a science. It is absolutely a science, but also it's an art.
Yeah.
It's a blend. I mean, everything's that way, right? Everything is both. For the listeners, look up Carl Jung, Jung. He talks about duality versus polarity. Duality is one or the other. It's black and white.
Only two.
Polarity is a spectrum of both, good and bad. Not good or bad. Good and bad.
Okay, you got that spectrum there. Okay.
Right, and so when we think about things, right, it's a matter of having both.
Okay.
You need both because it blends together. It's not black and white. It's gray. It's black and white, not black or white. So when we look at polarity, because here's the thing, right? We think about my life is bad because we're experiencing something bad, some type of tribulation that we're experiencing.
Yeah.
You don't have a bad life. It may feel bad, but maybe it's a bad day. Maybe it's a bad time. Maybe it's a bad experience. Maybe it's
It's not your season.
Right. It's not your season, and it's okay. But you can't think that you are ended there because it's like my life is bad, then demise happens within ourselves, and then we start going down this whole rabbit hole of feeling bad about ourselves and all these other things, right? And so a matter of knowing that life is going to be good experiences, not so good experiences, the ups and the downs. You gotta have them. You gotta have the bad days to appreciate the good days. You gotta have the good days to appreciate the bad days. And so it's the blend of the two. Yeah, it does it as much as you hate it. It's both, not just one or the other. So your question on like what's happening when we hit a plateau, and so there's the answer I'm going to give is something that I always hate hearing. It depends. Because it's true. It's so true. But it's like, okay. So I think here's what's actually happening for your version, Taj, is that look at the amount of stress you're dealing with now compared to the stress you were dealing with then. Your ability to tolerate stress is how it influences what you do in the gym. So think about this. You were a student. Your full-time job was to focus on football, school, and probably do some part-time work, right? Right? And so studying, and that was the stress you had, was being a student, being young. Well, once you get yourself outside of college, then other stressors take over. The stressors now is work. The stressors is now the relationships outside of life that you have. It's bills. It's
this house. Shoot.
Dude, yeah, man. It's life that starts hitting us, right? And our priorities, you don't spend as much time focusing on training as you did when you were in football because you have busy things going on now, right?
Man,
priorities change, and it's okay. But how do we get out of this plateau? Because it's still there. I mean, it's not age. There are some things that will state that it is, but I don't really think it's always that. I think it's the way that we're training. And so breaking up the way you're doing things, like 10 reps at, let's say, 340 is hard for you. Okay, well, what if we did 10 to 15 reps at 315 and built up that tolerance, and then the next, 4 weeks we add 325 for a set of 10 to 12. Build up the tolerance to it in different intensities, right? Because another word that I hope people understand is auto-regulation. Auto-regulation means your ability to check in with your nervous system. You have this thing called your autonomic nervous system. Fancy nerd talk for your body just doing what it does, like breathing.
See, this is why I brought him on. Y'all hear this man speak? This is a genius.
So your body has your autonomic nervous system, your fight or
flight state.
Fight or flight, right? Get this, man. Like when we feel anxious or nervous, the stress response goes high, right? We're feeling stressed. Our autonomic nervous system will go into what's referred to as your sympathetic. So imagine a bear's in front of you, right? We start, our heart rate increases, we start sweating more, we start tapping our foot, we start shallow breathing. All these stresses are happening to us. And so with auto-regulation, we also have parasympathetic, which is like your passive state, you're relaxed. Right now, there's not a bear, there's not a threat. We should be pretty relaxed. We're excited to be here. Absolutely, right?
Dude, I had this man.
Yeah. And so we want to find the balance between the two. And so you've dealt with injuries in the past. You're frustrated right now. I would imagine, right? If I make an assumption, correct me. You feel frustrated that those numbers are not where you want them to be. And so when you anticipate going into your workout with the squat in mind and you end up being like, man, 340 it's gonna be a struggle, and I don't like it. You start doubting yourself. You start putting that into your head. Your nervous system starts kind of going, hey, maybe this isn't the time that's right. And you start freaking out a little bit, but it doesn't show, right? And so it's that your nervous system will have a hinder in how you're doing in the gym every day. So for me, I always check to see how I'm physically feeling. I'm like, hey, how do I physically feel? How do I mentally feel? Because if I got in an argument with my girlfriend the night before and we didn't find
some consensus.
Yeah,
no.
You don't smash it. If you don't like squash what happened,
It.
Right? It impacts how you're gonna do in the gym. If work is stressing you out, dude, that's gonna feel heavy, right? And it's because the way you interpret stress impacts your physical body. Your physical body goes into a state of distress, and so when you go to your workout, you're stressing your body out in a positive way. That's called eustress. Eustress is good stress, which is working out. Same thing with you going up on the field, dude, getting ready to, play. And so your life revolves around those aspects. And the more we can allow ourselves to humanize ourselves in a way, right? Like what I mean is to look at ourselves as we would someone else. Because the way that you would give compassion to another person is nowhere near as much as you would give to yourself.
That is true.
And we're all doing it. It's just a matter of like being more and more mindful of how we need to treat ourselves and how we need to consider the way we talk to ourselves. So to get yourself out of a plateau with your squat session, play around. Dude, have you heard of Jim Wendler?
Jim
Jim Wendler.
Jim Wendler,
Jim Wendler.
he a professional bodybuilder or
No, dude, he's a powerlifter.
Okay.
He has the program 531. It is my favorite program, dude. I get giddy
In the
talking about it.
531, so is that like
I'm going to use numbers.
Okay.
And I'm going to get really excited about
Go
it.
ahead, dog.
Okay.
Do your thing.
So 90% of your 1 rep max is
Okay.
what you use for all of your percentages.
Yep,
Okay?
that's
So
what
it's right below your max.
Mm-hmm.
From there, you do 4 weeks of training, and each week the intensity increases. So week 1, you do 5 reps at 65, 75, 85. On your last set, you do as many reps as you can with like 1 or 2 left in the tank.
Okay.
Week 2, you do 70%, 80%, 90% of your 1 rep max.
Okay.
3 reps. On the last set, you do 3 plus, as many as you can, leave 1 or 2 in the tank.
Okay.
Week 3, 5, 3, 1. So you build up to what would be your 1 rep max.
100%.
So yep, you do 5 reps, 3 reps, then you go into the 1 rep, and then you do as many as you can. And
At the 1 rep?
at the 1 rep, because you're below, like, right? So let's make math easy. You do a 1 rep max with your bench press at 100 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Your sub max is your 90% of that is going to be 90 pounds.
Yeah.
From there, you skew the 1 to 100% on that 90 pound.
Okay.
And then you build up to it because that's how you break out of the plateaus. I've been doing it on and off for years.
Yo, that sounds like a beast.
Dude, it's
mindset, workout.
It's intense, but it's only 1
proficient.
lift. It's so quick, dude. 3 sets is all you do. And it's still every week you see the number increase. You always see progress with this program.
You know, me thinking about the whole year, like from January 1st up until, let's say, August, if I was doing that, you know?
Dude, so it takes about 12 weeks, round up to 13 at most, to see progress, like immediate change, like actual long-lasting results.
Yeah.
Can you see results within a month? Yeah, a month can happen, but not big change. Big change happens in about 13 weeks. It's the gas principle. It's how your body adapts into long-term effects, right?
Okay.
But you break it down by the month, 4 weeks. So you do opening week where you just kind of get your idea of training in, like, okay, I'm going to play around with these numbers that I have, low percentages, and then each week you increase, and then your body starts adapting. By the end of week 3, it's like, okay, I'm used to this stress, or it's exhausted. So on your last week, you lower down the intensities so your body can recover. And then the next week, you go back into it. Week 1, you start over with 5 reps, and then 5 rep plus. 3, 5, 3, 1, 5 reps, add a rest and recovery. And you just keep building up and building up and building up. I've seen people break numbers like crazy with it. So I'll send you the program.
Yeah, I'm going to see that.
Because it's dope, dude.
I think we've done something similar like that.
Sure.
In football, a lot of percentages, and we would get our cards and read them, and, you know, and we would stick to it. I don't know if they really mentioned that name, Jim
Wendler. So it's Wendler.
Wendler.
This guy is a monster, dude. Just a total beast, and he's a power lifter. Like, that's the thing. It's like, but he's been in this, like, lifting and training for years. I mean, just years. And so he's at a point now in his life where I've had injuries, and now I know more than I learned back when I was competing. And he just shares it. So he's got great information. He's one person I always go to. And then another thing to add into improving your strength, which people really doubt, is mobility.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, and I'm guilty of that because it's kind of the ego.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and we've talked about that a little bit. Like if I stretch right now, I'm still fast. Like I can still move out, you know, get out the way. And I stopped doing those mobility exercises, man. The boring stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I need to start incorporating that stuff again. It almost feels like you said, all the stresses and the job and all of
Mhm.
that, I feel like I cramp so much now. Before I,
Mhm.
so it, I don't give my workout time that I really need to.
Mhm.
I
You're
get up,
rushing it.
I'm rushing it, and I'm
Mhm.
doing these heavy weights,
Mhm.
and 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 I always, whether it's IG or YouTube, when I see
Mhm.
these powerlifters, guys who are stronger than me or more
Mhm.
mobile and
Mhm.
older. I'm talking about cats that are 35, 36 years
Mhm.
old, and I'm seeing them do these different mobility, and I'm just telling, and then like myself is I'm so hard headed, y'all, and I'm just
Can
like,
you
no,
believe it?
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do hip thrusts without weights because I personally feel like I ain't getting better.
Dude, I want to know
Like
what goes
seriously,
into that mindset. So, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but
no, you good, bro.
dude, but what I heard you say is like, if you're not feeling it, it's not doing it, right?
Yep,
And
that's been my motto for years, bro.
I, I, but when we go back to look at the idea of I don't want to do it because I don't feel it, um, it's that, and again, this is where I think I might be wrong. But would you agree or disagree that a lot of what you do is based on how you feel? If you don't feel it, I'm not going to do it. If I don't
Yeah,
feel like doing it, I won't do it. Mm,
it's like it's not a you're not right and wrong.
mhm.
It's kind of that, and the
It's
reason
complicated.
it's kind of
Yeah,
complicated, and the reason
absolutely.
being because I'm a very disciplined individual.
You are a disciplined person, but what separates the task of going in at 5 a.m. for a job versus I know that when I train, I need to take care of myself by doing these specific things? Is it because you're held accountable by somebody else at the job? Or is it that there's a prestige with that sense of accomplishment by showing up at that time?
I think you just hit it right there. I think it's that prestige, almost like in this elitist mind state of, uh, like I said, an ego.
Yeah.
Uh, like me, when I think about myself in a nutshell, you know, like I come from a single parent household. My mama raised four boys. Four boys.
Bless that
Yeah,
woman's
yeah.
soul,
No,
dude. Oh
my mama's
man.
like Wonder Woman, dog. Like
Yeah.
for real. So I've always been doubted. My family has
Mhm.
always been doubted. My intermediate family has always been doubted. Like
Mhm.
me, even just making it out here and still surviving on my own, it's still proving a lot of haters wrong. And I think subconsciously I'm doing a lot of this because it feels good and I'm accomplished,
Mhm.
but I also want to prove a lot of people wrong too.
Spite driven.
And it's almost spite driven, and I don't think that's almost the best way to go about everything. I think it's a mixture of all of that.
Yeah.
Me going to college, a lot of people in my family didn't go to college.
Mhm.
So me taking this step because I went to junior college route, which is also something that added to the chip on my shoulder. Like nobody, I had
Mhm.
to take another route where to get to this spot.
Mhm.
A lot of it's it's just doubt, bro. It's been doubt and me just having this ego of I'm gonna prove you wrong, and I might be loud with it, and
Mhm.
I might rub it in your face, and it's partially of it. Sometimes it's something that just make me feel good.
I'm like
It's a lot
getting
of unpack. It's a
I,
lot
I'm
to
like
unpack.
I'm like teary-eyed over here because I hear you,
Yeah,
and what that really says to me, because I experienced similar things.
yeah.
I'm sorry that so many people doubted you,
It's all good, bro.
and I'm sorry that people didn't take the time to see what you're really capable of.
Hmm.
And it's that. Did you struggle in school?
Sixth grade is really when I first got on the honor roll. So when I first felt that,
Mm-hmm.
it was like a whole new feeling. I felt like on top of the world. So to be honest, all throughout high school, I averaged a 3.5, senior year 3.6, junior college 3.3,
Mm-hmm.
and at SMSU at a 4 year, and I doubted myself big time. I thought I was gonna drop in grades and like
Mm-hmm.
be a 2.8 type student, but in at SMSU 3.6.
Wow.
In one semester, had a 4.0 during football season.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I challenged myself,
Yeah.
but that's where that mouth, that bark
Yeah.
come, that y'all thought I couldn't do this, but
Right.
I did this and played ball, you know?
Right. And so back to that, uh, spite is a feeling of anger, right? Because
That
we feel
part of it
hurt,
is anger.
right? And it's like I'm hurt that you didn't believe in me. I'm hurt that you wouldn't trust me. You know, there's pain there, and it's hiding, dude. It's hiding there. And so what we do is we use anger to get us through by coping. And so we use spite to get through a lot. That's how I opened up my business. Was out of spite. I had a lot of things set up to do this business in another place, and that person decided to take my idea and pull it from me and do their thing. And
I'm sorry. That's unfortunate, but
it was, but it's what needed to happen, because if it didn't happen, I wouldn't be here. And so when that happened, as 2 weeks after I got that email, I had already gotten my business loan. That's how quick I was. I was just pissed.
You said, "Watch this."
I was like, "All right, cool. This is what I needed.
All right,
I'm gonna do this."
I got something on my sleeve.
Oh man, so
on my
like,
sleeve.
yeah, man. So I was waiting for that, and like a lot of my life has been based on doing things to prove people wrong, because I like that feeling. And I imagine you're like me when we are being loud, when we are boasting in our success of "I proved you wrong." You get this intense feeling, and it starts maybe in your forearms, maybe in your shoulders, and you feel kind of tense. You get a little hot.
It's weird.
Where do you feel yours? I feel mine in my forearms.
The back of my head.
Oh, wow.
The back of my head, and it's like I get like this tingly feeling.
Spider senses.
Like, yeah, spider senses. You know what I'm saying? My spidey senses. Hey, shout out to my baby brother. He got that for me when I went to Cali to go see my family.
Dude, yeah.
So, but yeah, it's like it's that feeling of adrenaline.
Yep.
And it's just almost, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, dude, that's
whatever goal is, I'm ready to go.
You're there, because you know what happens next, right? And so I think that's where we learn to regulate our nervous system. I talked about that earlier, right? Because we get sensations, dude, in our body, and what happens next is like we feel something, and then after that, we end up articulating it with a story. When was the last time I felt this way? Oh, when this person cut me off in the drive-thru, and now I'm upset and I'm seeing red, or that's going extreme. But you know, my forearms get tight because I'm starting to adrenaline come in, because I feel upset, because I feel I want to be justified now, and I have to do that by my means.
I feel justified.
Yep.
I want to make this right, which always ain't right, but we justify it.
We justify
it right.
And that's what spite is. I myself have done that, and I thought about it. One thing that, if you haven't heard, have you heard of an ego death?
Ego death.
It's literally a trip, because when the ego isn't what we make it seem to be. Okay. It's somebody there to make sure that all the doubts you have are taken care of by that person. But that person is who's carrying those doubts, is the ego. I feel hurt because of this, because it reminded me of when I was a child and this happened. So I created this other person to protect you. So when you experience an ego death, there's other ways that you can do it. Have you seen Mike Tyson's podcast?
Mike Tyson?
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
That's good.
Mike Tyson. Yeah, Mike Tyson. Yeah, I've seen a couple of his episodes.
Dude, his stuff is fire. Look up the interview with Kevin Gates.
Kevin Gates. Hey, Kevin Gates been wild.
He's so wild, dude.
Wow, that's that Louisiana boy.
But dude, if you study some of the things he talks about, he does make sense.
Okay.
And that's what I was trying to get at. But also, the other way that you could do it is by meditation.
Yeah, definitely meditating.
Journaling.
Praying and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. But the way I experienced my own is that I went to the woods by myself, and I started writing in my journal about where my pain came from. I really wanted to know where it was, but in order to get to the root of that, I had to look at the hardest parts of my life without fear, without judgment, without anything that would enact my defense mechanisms. So when we experience trauma, emotional, physical, whatever it may be, we'll develop these mechanisms, right? And so when we're trying to, like, there's things that we don't talk about
Yeah.
because they're personal or they hurt too much.
Mm.
And I mean, everybody's entitled to their own privacy. And so the things that we don't want to talk about, we find ways in our brain to distract us from actually looking at that experience. And so sometimes it might be playing video games. It could be,
Which I do.
yeah, absolutely, man. Some people will have, thoughts of they'll go to their vices, their addictions, to distract themselves that way.
Yeah.
They'll go to, like for me, when I was going through this work, and I still do the work at times when I need it, because it's just a tool now, but it's like I get ideas for my business.
Say that one more time.
I get ideas for my business.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's creative. It's in a creative state.
Okay.
And so, like, my brain wants to say, hey, I know where you're going. I don't want you to go there. Here's an area that you love.
You know why that makes sense?
Why is that?
Because everything you're saying is correlating with how I felt and how I feel sometimes even till this day. That's why I created like Smack Talk Podcast. That's why the name is Smack Talk Podcast, because like you say, creating that other person, like that superhero version of yourself.
Yeah.
Even though my peers created the name Smack because of how I played football, it still became almost
another part of your identity.
Another part of my identity, of Taji, the football player, who is Smack. But it's like it almost blended in with my world. That's how I also like to deal with my issues and problems, kind of like head on. And then the talk part of, of thinking of those memories of people. Like, you should just pretty much just shut up, just be quiet. Well, that's where the ego kick in. I'm going to talk. So the Smack Talk Podcast gave me the idea to just create this, put some things on the wall that I might enjoy. It's not everything, but whether it's football, comics, music, love Nas, love Wu-Tang, some basketball stuff, Drew Brees, so, and then my own football jersey as well. So I definitely hear you with the idea part of it. That's pretty cool how our body does that, like how our mind is so powerful.
It's amazing.
That's just pretty much what it is. Our mind is
it's
ridiculous.
A brain. And so you have the ability through this fancy word called neuroplasticity. So our brains are it allows us to grow. It lets your brain continuously grow, and it doesn't end. It's always there.
I always thought our brains, grow or developing.
So your ability to learn something, people think that age is a factor. The smallest degree. Our brains stop developing around age 24, 25.
That's what I was going to say, right? 25, yeah.
But that doesn't mean it doesn't stop expanding its ability. And I only knew about this 2 years ago. That's how quick.
Still learning
like a mother, dude. And so it's how quick it learns, right? And so when we look at the ego and we think about this, right? It's a person who's a protector, but that person comes with diminishing returns. We talked about that earlier.
Diminishing returns.
And so the way that ego will handle certain situations isn't in alignment with who we are today. The person that we're trying to create now is separate from the person we created to get us through what we needed to. We created a person in our image so that person wouldn't allow to what happened to us happen again. And that person came with some really good behaviors that we valued, and most of them not so much. Whether it's aggression, violence, whether it's temperament, whatever it may come with, it's the person who has the most amount of pain too. The person who carries the most pain is the ego, because they're the ones who experienced the worst of what we went through, because we give them that burden. And so what they do is, this is what happens to me. Okay, here's what I'm going to do because of this. So then in a way, we've created our own choices and options, but that person became too big and can at times control us. And so to experience an ego death is to free yourself of that version of yourself, because there's a better version of yourself that doesn't carry all those traits that come with that ego. I used to like drinking. Well, if you knew me from when I drank, I could either be really fun or your night's gonna suck because I had too much and
energy.
Yeah. I would turn into like Jekyll and Hyde, like, right? And so I that's who came with that. And so when I was able to rid myself of that burden, I still will find it. Like it's always there. It's always there, and it just creeps up from time to time. But the reason we got on this long tangent was looking at why we're skipping mobility, why we're doing things to help us get stronger. It's because we don't value what the person we are right now, or the vision that we're looking, the lens that we're looking at it.
Okay, the lens.
The lens that we're looking at mobility work doesn't value doing it. So they're not going to do it. And that's the person that you go to when you're going to go do something hard, the gym. It's hard work. It's discipline. Hey, I don't want to do this because this version of myself doesn't value it. Think about this. When you were 17, the things that were important then are nowhere near as what's important right now.
Not right now, no.
Because your values changed.
Yeah.
As they should. And so something within yourself is able to change so that you can take better care of your body, so that you can get the results you're looking for. But it's a matter of having that ability to admit that, and this is the ego not wanting to say, hey, maybe I might be wrong about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because again, the only way out is through. And so to allow yourself to enable any changes you really want to create, you got to admit that what you're doing right now isn't working. You have to admit that. It got you to where you needed to be, and that's great. But it's not getting you where you want to go.
Yeah.
And so in order to go to a new path, neuroplasticity comes in, new neural pathways. Your brain makes these connections together by creating new thoughts, by enacting those new thoughts. Well, maybe if I do a squat and a single arm dumbbell bench press and then my mobility work kind of in a small little circuit, I can still do upper body, lower body, and add in mobility, right? And so, or maybe let's use it in a different context. Hey, I know that if I want my brother to listen to me, but he won't because of the tone of my voice, or because I yell at him and like, hey, clean your room, whatever it is, right? Pick up those damn shoes, right. That doesn't work. What if I tried something different? Hey man, do you think it would be a better way? Because like my tone, again, you gotta watch the tone. Like, hey dude, would it be all right if you picked up the shoes?
You get the same point across.
Same point across versus pick up your damn shoes. Hear the tone. There's anger behind it. There's being assertive. There's pick up your damn shoes versus, hey dude, could you pick up your shoes? There's kindness. Kindness isn't weakness. It's just a matter, because you win. Guess what? Are people going to drink honey or are they going to drink vinegar?
It's honey all day.
Honey!
All day.
So
Give
you
me some.
But you give people honey who have only had vinegar, they're not used to it. And you're the person, and I was the person who has skepticism in people's trust. Why are you being nice to me? What do you want? Nothing. I'm just showing kindness.
I'm just showing you kindness.
But people who grew up in the way that we did, we view kindness as weakness, not because it's intentional, but it's like that's how people got taken advantage of.
Yeah.
That's how people got hurt.
Yeah. Being too nice.
Being too nice. And it's not about being a nice person. I think, and again, this is where people think if you mishear me, you're going to think I'm cynical. But I don't think it's good to be a nice person. I think it's better to be a kind person than it is to be nice. Kindness is an act that I value. I do that because I think it's important.
Because you believe it. It's not so much
it's not
you putting it on when you wake up. It's
I
like
have to be nice.
It's like praying 30 times a day when you know I just need to pray because I know it feels good,
Right.
or it's living it versus. All right, I'm gonna
It's
put
expected.
it on for the show. I'm gonna put it on the show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it on the show.
People
It's like
say-
Minnesota niceness.
Yes, dude.
Oh,
Thank you.
Especially when I came out here, a lot of Minnesota niceness out
The
here.
most passive aggressive people out here.
Super passive aggressive.
It's ridiculous.
Just tell me how you really feel.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Just tell me how you But yeah.
But it's their culture here, which I don't necessarily agree with, because when you think about being nice, dude, there's an intention behind it that I expect you to be the same. I treated you nice. Why didn't you give me that back in return? It's like a transaction when I'm kind.
Yeah, it's not transformative. You can be transactional.
Yeah.
There's only two types of people in this world. You're either transactional or you're transformative.
Yeah.
Being transactional, you're almost doing it hoping it's something in return almost. I like that. That's a good way to look at it. That might make some people squirmy, or they might think of it, the viewers or whoever. But the way I break that down is, if I'm kind to you, I can still be serious and still be kind.
Yeah.
So that thought of, I think I could take advantage of this person probably won't hit you.
No.
You probably won't think that way versus being nice, and I'm nice, and it's just like, I can take advantage of that person.
You can, and it's disgusting.
Or
it's malicious.
It becomes malicious.
And it's like, I never liked that, because it just gives me such a gross feeling in the pit of my stomach.
Okay.
Versus doing things because it makes me feel good. Like, dude, whenever I can, I do as much as I can. Whether it's giving people compliments, whether it's asking them about their day, or just genuinely putting myself out there, helping them grab something from the shelf, just helping people makes me feel so good. And I don't do it because it looks good. I don't do it because it's expected. I do it because of how I feel when I do it. I love that feeling. I absolutely love that feeling, being able to do that action for somebody else, to be that, because I know what it's like to just have a bad day, you know? And I think a lot about people who work at gas stations, retail people, grocery, just like things like people who work in food. Like, I always go more for them above and beyond when I'm kind, because I know that there's so many people out there who are unkind to them. And I don't think that's fair. I don't think that, but I used to be that way. I was never always this way. You know, I had to learn how to do this, but it's a matter of, I would much rather give somebody a gift, and it's just always coming from a sincere spot. Yeah. But to know that I hope that it made their day better. Just the smallest bit, because again, I don't know. It's about doing what, in the cliche thing, do unto others as you would want to be done to yourself. I don't know how it goes.
That's a golden rule, though. That's, that is true, though. But I hear you, man. That's the doctor over here. Now y'all hear him dissecting this, man, putting it back together, flipping.
That's dope, man.
This dude Will, man. That's what I'm talking about. I appreciate you being here, man. I think you've definitely helped me look at some things in different perspectives. I think even when you're talking about breathing, like, you're holding so much of your air in your chest when you really need to let it go through your, your ribs. When you told me that, I was like, I never even. And I'm like, and then they go to ego, and I'm like, but Will, my wind is good. I can go and run, and it's like, that's not what I'm talking about.
No, man, I'm talking about how you physically feel, bro.
Yeah,
like,
that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
but it makes sense, dude, because you're a competitive man, and by nature, you're a sport,
like,
right?
Man, it's too much at times.
It is, dude. And because then it's like, man, what am I getting competitive? Are you somebody who gets upset if you lose?
I hate losing.
Dude, I'm gonna be the worst person. If
I hate losing, bro. What? I hate losing.
You and I would do terrible at games, because if I play against somebody who's competitive, I'm not competitive, dude. I don't ever care. I don't care. And so when people are serious and they lose, I have to bite my tongue because I want to laugh, because I'm like, bro, it's not that serious, bro. Like, what? Like, oh man. And I'm unathletic. I don't remember rules to games. And so I surprise myself sometimes when I
Uh-huh.
win because I was like,
Uh-huh.
I don't remember the rules. How did I win?
Yeah,
And so somebody like you would get pissed, and I'd be like, bro, stop.
Like,
You're just like livid.
like, it's okay. You're still gonna eat dinner. You're gonna wake up tomorrow.
But it makes sense
You
though
know.
because it's important to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's super important to you. But again, back to the term diminishing returns.
Diminishing return.
You could be playing a game with your brothers, and then it can get into a big argument.
Yeah.
Is it really that big? Does it really matter that much?
Mm-hmm.
To us right now, that physical feeling in your body,
Mm-hmm.
it does. But guess what, dude? Sometimes that guy lies.
Yeah.
Sometimes that guy, because the same feeling of fear can also be excitement.
Yeah. 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 I was actually my one of my good friends of mine. He sent me something, and it was a reel that was talking about being grateful and anxious, and how they almost give off the same feeling in the mind and how it feels throughout your body, and how they shouldn't really coexist. You can't be grateful if you're anxious,
Right.
and if you're so anxious all the time, what are you actually really grateful for?
Right.
And that I was like, wow, that's kind of, you know, you could look at that at so many different ways you want, but I thought that was a little impactful. But
It is.
yeah,
How did you interpret when you heard that? Like, what thought came to mind when you heard that?
I thought I've been lying to myself sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, or it's like, me being a man of faith. It's like having a feeling of worry, but you serve God, who's bigger, who's omnipotent. How can you be worried if God is bigger than every single problem that you have?
Right.
It's like it's oxymoronic at that point. So I'm just lying to myself then.
But also it's just human nature to feel feelings.
And it's also human nature as well. And that's where you know, we can go discipline and whatever teachings, meditation, what are you actually spending some of your time with to try to help diminish those feelings or those thoughts.
You know, the thing I would say, Taj, that would be helpful is you're really self-aware.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Okay.
Because most people go in autopilot.
Yeah, I can't be on autopilot too much. I'm probably not even on autopilot, but like diminishing return, that is probably gonna be my favorite movie. Diminishing return. You thought it was good, but it's hurting you.
Yeah, dude, hell yeah.
But very self-aware, especially how it was brought up, and you know where we come from and stuff. So even in a place of fun, it's like, all right, let's peep game for a second. Okay, now we back to what we got to do.
Right.
Back to having fun. All right, peep game. Who's this car driver? Okay, whatever, and however you want to look at it and break it down.
And I would say that with that self-awareness, do the hard things. The hard things that you can do, which you know you can do, is to stop enacting the things that don't serve you. The thoughts begin there. Okay, I see a car driving by. Who's that? Could it be a threat? Well, you're not in an environment that is threatening. So that physical feeling that we have to want to go and look, you want to look, but it's not going to help you because it's always just usually an older person driving the car. Never else around here.
Especially in Washington. You know, it's not an next-door neighbor.
Yeah, dude. But you know that awareness you have both mentally needs to match physical. Like, am I feeling tense right now because of that car driving by? Okay, well, I can relax. Like, let your body relax a little bit. That breath, right? Feel your feet, feel your hands, feel your chest. Like, just get used to just being here with me. Like, I usually try to say that when I have conversations with people who have had trauma and we have difficult discussions, people disassociate sometimes, where they give you the blank stare where they're like staring at you and you're having a conversation. They haven't blinked in a while. That's disassociation. It's like I'm exiting my body because mentally I can't handle what's happening here. And physically, I can't either, so I'm going to go somewhere else while this happens. And so when I talk to people who have experienced trauma and we are going through a topic that's hard, my words to them always is, hey, stay here with me. For a moment, just be here with me so we can be together.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. And it's that presence. And so it's like, hey, Your anxiety is brought by your fears of the future because it's unknown. Your depression is usually from past experiences that we ruminate on. We linger, we overthink, we play it over and over. And so to allow yourself to find peace, I'm not going to say you're going to get rid of them completely because they'll come and go.
Yeah.
They're like seasons, dude.
Yeah.
Right? But you can be at a more state of peace and mindfulness by staying in our body, catching our breath, and not letting past thoughts rule our current situation. That's how we overcome these difficult things. To know that, hey, that's just a car. Because, yeah, it's same thing with like new people entering in a room. Who's that? You gotta check them.
You gotta check. Who is it?
You know?
You gotta check them.
But it lessens the more you catch the thought. Oh, I'm having a thought that there might be a threat. All right, relax. I don't have to go through the thoughts that I usually do behind that. Because you have the thought, you have the feeling, you have the reaction.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. The reaction is what makes our body feel safe again. But it's because we perceived a thought. Did you ever break anything while playing football?
Thank God, no.
Okay.
Dislocated this finger.
Okay, sure. Do you remember what team you were playing when that happened?
Actually, in practice.
Oh.
Practice it happened.
Wild. Okay. So the only reason I asked that is because I was at a course and it's a long story, so I'm going to shorten it up real quick. The drill that we were practicing on the person wasn't working because the person who was having the work done to them, their partner had a purple shirt on, and that purple shirt reminded him of when he broke his knee football because of a purple jersey tackling him. So he associated his entire life the color purple with danger, and he didn't even know it.
It's almost like I think his name was Ben Watson.
Okay.
That he was a sociologist or psychologist, and with the baby and the white bunny and cotton ball.
Oh yes, yes.
Exactly. That's the same thing. That they would do a loud alarm.
Yep.
It'll make the baby cry. They had cotton balls, so they practiced that on the baby. They brought a white bunny to the baby, fluffy, almost similar to a cotton ball. He would cry when he would see a bunny.
Because he would associate it with it. Dude, and so that was perfect because that is literally what happens to us with anything and everything. Because you're going to associate a car you don't know with whatever may have happened in the past. And usually, maybe we didn't experience something with a car, but somebody taught us, hey, when you see a car...
Survival tactics.
They don't serve us, dude. We're not surviving anymore.
Yeah.
But it's hard because we don't want to let go of what kept us safe. But we have to because it's no longer keeping us safe. It's making us live in constant worry and fear. And that's not a place to be. And I'm not saying that I'm naive. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I have my life figured out. I'm saying that I've let go of a lot of the things that don't help me anymore because it would make my life chaotic because it was self-induced.
Yeah.
It was taught to me by others. I learned to adapt to survive to it, but it's my responsibility to learn new things, but also it's my choice and it's an option I have. Dude, you grew up to be the man you wish you would have had in your life. And it's amazing because I did that too. It's like we grew up to be the people we wish we had growing up. Can you imagine what a life would have been like if we had like a dude like us to be there to be like, hey man, I know you're struggling, you're going through what you're going through, but hey, let's go do something. Let's talk about this. Here's some different things you can practice. But we didn't. So we created what we hoped would have given us the relief that we're experiencing now and going through. And so for you to be one of the very few people to graduate college in your family, that's amazing, man. Dude, hell yeah. I hope you're proud of yourself.
I am, man. I am.
You should be.
Probably should give myself, it's more so giving myself more grace and just giving grace, period. And in that is also learning new skills too. Like the what's the favorite saying that I like?
Oh yeah, the
the,
diminishing returns.
the diminishing returns.
Yeah.
Understanding that just because this makes you feel good,
Mhm.
it's not necessarily good for you.
Dude,
You
Mark
know.
Manson has a great quote on that. Um, Not everything that you do will feel good, and not everything that feels good is going to be good for you. And so you got to be aware of that, and that's what you're doing right
Yeah.
now. It's like, hey, man, I don't like doing this because it doesn't make me feel good, but I know it's the right thing to do.
The right thing to do.
And then sometimes doing the right thing doesn't feel good all the time because it's hard. And then sometimes doing what feels good isn't always the right thing. You know, you got to find that balance within yourself.
It's balance. That's all it is. Balance.
Polarity. It's not good or bad. It's not this and that. It's like, hey, man, you and I love fitness. Like, dude,
I love fitness, man.
we like training. We value our health. We like taking care of ourselves. But we're also people. We like eating pizza and ice cream.
I
like
could kill some donuts. All my boys love me some donuts.
Yeah?
Seriously, love donuts. But
I'm candy and ice cream.
candy, chocolate,
I like gummies.
gummies too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
all of that. All
Yeah.
of that.
But it's like you and I don't eat that every day.
Nah.
It's like, and we're not going to be like really restrictive with it. It's just like in moderation, right? Like
Moderation,
if I want to have a donut, I'll have one, but I'm not going to, do this every day, have
Monday
12
through
donuts.
Friday, no. Yeah.
That would
Man.
just, it's
Now that
rough.
suck. Yeah.
It would suck because of how we would feel, and so I think that you're right. You and me and everyone else, we got to give ourselves grace. We got to give it to others. But the way to begin doing that is letting go of what served you. That means dude, I remember going to my therapist on like one of the hardest sessions of my life. I had to get rid of the thing that served me the most. And I remember just sobbing into her office and going, Amy, I'm like, Amy, I'm ready to do this today, but I know what it's going to mean. And it was the silliest thing. It was letting go of a story that I created to be the person I needed to be to get me through that experience. And it was me letting go of that story so that I could be at peace with myself today. And it's like, it hurts to let it go because like you cling on to it. But dude, it's like you and I go for a walk right now and you want to take your cinder blocks with you because it makes you feel good. like
Hey, the cinder block. You know what I'm saying?
You're like my comfort cinder blocks.
It's cinder blocks though.
Yeah,
you
dude.
know?
And so it's like, Taj, we don't need that, bro.
But yeah, giving grace is definitely what's needed, and should definitely do more of it. I need. We all do, right?
If you can give yourself forgiveness by accepting that we all make mistakes and that we're all human, we can give ourselves even more grace. And then it has to start with you.
Yeah.
Because then you can give it to others.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself, but allow others to take care of you because you would do the same for them. And in hopes they would do the same for you in return.
And that's one thing that I do love about everything that I've been taught, like from my mother and everything that I've taught myself and every experience, no matter what, I'm going to help somebody. No matter how angry I might get, upset, sad, it might not be on a time.
That's fair, but you'll be there.
You're
going to be there.
I will definitely be there. Even, servanthood is big. I didn't think that I was going to be doing what I'm doing for Sweet Living.
Yeah.
But providing a service for y'all, as crazy and hectic as it get, today was off the rail, bro. Today was off. Today was a beast today.
Yeah.
Just from 10 to 2.
That's short period.
I thought about leaving halfway through this.
Yeah.
I thought about,
just
go. But servanthood is important. And there's ways and there's areas in my life that I got to get better at. But I'm glad that I have that in me to always want to help somebody and to be a servant in the sense of being kind. Like when prospects and clients come in, I try to beat them first to the door to open it up for them. Any people that are in wheelchairs, I make sure I get up, get that door open, stop what I'm doing, and I'm there to help you, whatever the case may be. So, man, it's been it's been refreshing to have you on this show.
I appreciate it. Thank you, man.
Not that any of my other guests that have been here didn't provide a service. No, you guys all have that has been on the show. But Will, I appreciate you being here too, man. This was great.
Appreciate
Good
it.
talk.
Yeah, man, for sure.
If this gonna make me feel better, it gotta make y'all feel better. This man here, the doctor over here, the doctor. But just talk about your business for a second. Tell
Yeah.
us where you're located in the social medias that you want to put out there. Give the whole spiel, man.
So Restored Strength is my gym. I own it with my friend Sarah. We're located on 1411 East College Drive. If you're somebody who's been in the area for a while, it's where the old bowling alley used to be. If you're new to the area and you're like, where the hell is Restored Strength? It's right next to El Rancho, the dealership, and also the restaurant. And what we do at our facility is we're a non-traditional gym. So what we'll do is we do small group personal training. We do semi-private personal training. We work with athletes, massage therapy, and we work with adults. We want to work with people like your mom and dad because they deserve to feel better. And so our goal is to help people improve the quality of their life and their living by helping them move better, get stronger, have fun doing fitness, and just being a coach for them. We're providing a level of service of expertise mixed with positive encouragement and helping people live the lives they want. And so go to our website, restoredstrength.com, Facebook and Instagram, Restored Strength, YouTube, Restored Strength. We're just happy to be in the community serving and helping people because like I said, I experienced this at my internship. I wanted that feeling to be brought back here because other people deserved it. And we've been doing it for 7 years, and I'm just happy to be here.
Y'all hear the passion in his voice. He thought it was meaningful to come back to provide a service. So y'all check him out. All the athletes out here, like he said, adults, elders, go and get your body checked out. Go and get that massage that you need, because I'm gonna be definitely back because I'm trying to get back in the gym. So
Yeah,
I'm
man.
definitely be back. It's definitely worth it to be able to talk to this man and just be able to just have an open conversation while he's getting you worked out and stretching you out and different things like that. So I know it's called Restore Strength, but it's like the healing touch. It's like the healing touch. Hey, Will, I appreciate you coming to the circle.
Yeah, man.
You know, this has been great. So I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. This was episode number 8. I don't know who's going to be sitting in this chair next, but hey, we're going to get it figured out. It's your boy Smack and my dog Will, and we out.